December 16th, 1944, 4:30 a.m. More than 400,000 German soldiers move through the Ardennes forest in complete silence. No radio chatter, no engine noise, no warning signs. American radar detects nothing. American intelligence suspects nothing. By sunrise, entire U.S. Army units are surrounded, cut off, and annihilated. This should not have been possible. Germany was outnumbered, outgunned, and critically low on fuel and ammunition. Strategically, the war was already lost, and yet the Germans launched one of the most devastating offensives of World War II. So how did they do it? What American commanders discovered afterward shocked them and terrified them. Man for man, the German soldier was more effective than the American soldier. Not more fanatical, not more brutal, but more professionally dangerous. Even at the very end of the war, in Berlin, surrounded and doomed, German defenders killed over 81,000 Soviet soldiers and destroyed nearly 2,000 tanks in just 2 weeks. American veterans who fought in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam all said the same thing. The Germans were the hardest enemy they ever faced. This explains why American casualties in Europe were so high, why battles expected to be easy victories turned into bloodbaths, and why, after winning the war, the U.S. military adopted German methods of warfare. But to understand why German soldiers were so dangerous, we must first understand something most people get completely wrong about how soldiers are made. Most people assume soldiers begin training when they enlist. That assumption is wrong. German soldiers began training at age 10. Starting in the mid-1930s, German boys entered the Hitler Youth not merely as propaganda tools, but as future soldiers. By 1937, rifle schools were established. By 1938, 1.5 million boys had already been trained in marksmanship. By 1939, the German High Command directly supervised their field exercises. Now compare that to the average American soldier in 1944. 19 years old. 3 to 4 months of total training. Basic training, specialty training, then deployment. But the real difference wasn't just how long they trained. It was what they were trained to do when everything went wrong. American training emphasized obedience. Learn your role, follow orders, wait for commands. German training asked a different question. What do you do when there is no one left to give orders? That difference would get American soldiers killed. He reaches for his radio. He calls the lieutenant. The lieutenant calls the captain. The captain studies a map and calls for artillery. 15 minutes pass. Now picture the same scenario with a German squad. The sergeant doesn't reach for a radio. He scans the building, ground floor, second floor. Then he sees it, a partially hidden basement window. No words, just hand signals. 2 soldiers move immediately. The sergeant suppresses the machine gun. 30 seconds later, a grenade goes through the basement window. 3 minutes total. That 12-minute difference between waiting for permission and acting on initiative happened in every firefight. Those minutes accumulated. They became casualties. German units with fewer men repeatedly held off larger American forces. This wasn't luck, it was doctrine. The Germans called it Auftragstaktik, mission-type tactics. Officers told soldiers what to accomplish, not how to do it. But there was a catch. This system only works if your soldiers are already professionals when they reach the front. And by 1944, most German soldiers were exactly that. Winter combat where frostbite killed as many men as bullets. These soldiers knew how to fight when everything went wrong, because on the Eastern Front, everything always did. Even as Germany began losing the war, German effectiveness didn't decline. In many cases, it increased. In Berlin, April 1945, hopelessly outnumbered and surrounded, German defenders inflicted catastrophic losses on the Red Army. Now add their weapons. The MG-42 machine gun, firing 1,200 rounds per minute, wasn't just a weapon. It was the foundation of German squad tactics. Entire units revolved around it. And then there's the tank myth. You've heard it before. It took 5 Shermans to kill 1 Tiger. That's false. U.S. Army studies showed the Sherman had a 3.6 to 1 kill ratio against the Panther. Tigers were rare. Most German tanks were Panzer IVs, which Shermans fought evenly. American tanks weren't helpless. The myth persists because it's dramatic, not because it's true. Yet, despite better logistics, better production, and overwhelming numbers, American casualties remained high. Why? Because abundance created a hidden weakness. America had the greatest logistics system in military history. Artillery on demand, air support in squadrons, replacement tanks within days. Germany had none of this. But German units moved light and fast. American units moved methodically. While Americans consolidated positions, Germans regrouped and counterattacked. In individual battles, German speed killed Americans. But wars aren't won by tactics alone. They're won by strategy, logistics, and numbers. America could replace its losses. Germany couldn't. Every German casualty was irreplaceable. Hitler's strategic insanity squandered tactical brilliance. In the end, quantity defeated quality. After the war, the U.S. military studied German doctrine and adopted much of it. Mission-oriented command, decentralized leadership, and NCO initiative. The Germans lost the war, but their way of fighting shaped modern armies for generations. So now the question is yours. Were German soldiers truly better, or has history romanticized the losing side?